From the many realms of Aetheris to the distant reaches of the 13th via the magic of podcasting, this is episode 52 of A Podcast Reborn, a show celebrating our journey in the past, present, and definitely possible future of Final Fantasy XIV. It's definitely possible, an oxymoron. This episode is being recorded on Sunday, May 5th of 2024. The following podcast may contain mature language and spoilers for the MSQ, but probably not, since there are just 54 days away from Dawntrail Early Access. My name is Brian Black, otherwise known as Ro, and one of my two wonderful co-hosts will be happy to know the first Yokai Watch weapon I've claimed is the machinist one.
Yeah!
It's the only one worth a darn.
It's a robot cat.
Indeed. He is our resident sage of dad jokes, alcoholic, blogger extraordinaire, and an old man who seems to have passed his stealth skill check on social media because I've got nothing to reference to from there this week. Hi, Brandon.
I don't know what to tell you, man. Once Twitter just went down the shitter, right there. It's like my enthusiasm for the whole endeavor just went out the window. I don't know what to tell you, but that's not what we're here to talk about. You know what you're here for. Did you guys hear about the hotfix they had to deploy for the Cruise Chaser mount? Yeah, you couldn't turn with it. It can only go forward and back and then forward and back.
Oh, gosh.
That's a music
It's a good, it's a good one. If you know, you know.
And if you don't know, now you know.
And knowing's half the battle.
Oh my, what? I'm the one on Dayquil, you weirdos.
Speaking of, also with us from somewhere in California is our Chaos Gremlin, VTuber, Webtoon artist, Cat Mom, and a manor lady who is flavor blasted by Dayquil. Hi, Megan.
Hello. I would like to remind the audience that my entire monster fucker rant was 100% sober.
Wow, we went there.
And now I'm on Dayquil. Yes, it's true. I don't know how much worse I'm always like, it's fine, but it's probably not. But, you know, I have a cold. I don't like it. I've got cough drops here. I've got tissues, and I'm going to power through it. You know how the nonsense usually goes, and so this might be like nonsense 1.5. It might be nonsense times 10. We don't know. We're doing it live. We're going to find out.
I need to tell you something.
What's up?
If I had a nickel for every person that sent me monster fucker related memes after your last rant, I'd have 2 nickels, which isn't a lot, but it's weird that it happened twice.
Our army grows.
Slowly but surely.
Look, man, if you're not a monster fucker, you're a coward. That is my hardline stance.
I have no idea exactly where we're going to this episode, because this is one of those episodes where I really don't have much of a plan. Like I said, we're a few episodes away from Dawntrail taking off. We've got live letter coming up to talk about next episode, and then the hype is just going to build and build from there. I think the media tour happens next week. Like I said, live letter. There's Moogle Treasure Trove, Make It Rain happening next week. Things to keep people engaged and interested and logging on. But right now it's kind of one of those times where if you're playing Final Fantasy XIV, you really kind of have to find the fun yourself in your own way. For some people, that's participating in Yokai Watch. Like I said, I did some of that. I've only unlocked one weapon. I've got probably half of the minions, but I haven't really done too much. I maybe spent 2-3 hours just to do the first part of it and get that one weapon, because the machinist weapon is the coolest weapon from that bunch. I mean, hands down. I
do have to admit, I do like the dancer weapons too, but that's just because they're purple.
I forgot about dancer weapons. I would probably say of all the weapons I saw, machinist is number 1. Dancer is probably number 2. Even though I don't play a dancer, they are pretty slick.
And I know the contracts for the collaboration probably ended a long time ago, but come on, guys, if you're going to bring this back and you're going to make collectible weapon mogs, add the ones for the new jobs. It's just depressing when you don't do that.
Yeah, it feels like a missed opportunity. I mean,
I think I thought that they added some new ones, but
no, not this go around.
They did in Shadowbringers, and we're seeing all of that stuff again.
Well,
Yep. No Sage or Reaper yokai weapons, unfortunately.
oh, those could be. Well, the thing is with Yokai Watch is that 90% of the designs are extremely goofy, so turning them into weapons is kind of like, okay, thanks, I guess.
I mean, they did it for everything else.
Yeah.
Give me an adorable cutesy Reaper scythe that I'll absolutely never use, but still.
I would love an adorable cutesy Reaper scythe. Put bows on it.
I feel like whenever they get around to it, and maybe it'll happen during Dawntrail, I feel like a Pictomancer yokai weapon won't be that hard to come up with.
I feel like Pictomancer weapon is already kind of Yokai Watch-ish.
Mm-hmm.
And like, oh god, aren't they giving us one with like a chocobo on it? Like, as the bonus thing? The Pictomancer weapon?
Yeah, I have no idea.
Yes.
Sorry.
Yeah, there is a.
I think it's like for the special edition or whatever.
Yeah, like
you
the digital.
You get a Pictomancer weapon, and it's good and it's cute. It's cutesy. So on brand. I just gotta say, I'm gonna be so in the weeds on Pictomancer. Like, I have never felt more targeted in my life. And the fact that they gave it to Kryl, like one of my favorites, I'm like, oh my god. They're just like, hey, like, are you guys stalking me?
and she gets to retain the cat hood and everything. So now
she's an honorary cat girl, by the way.
I'm looking forward to seeing you make a cat hood for your VTuber.
I might. Well, it kind of restricts the ear movement, which I have the ears and the tail rigged to my eyebrows, so whenever I'm like surprised, my tail flicks up and my ears perk up. And
okay.
That's weirdly adorable.
Yeah, I enjoy it a lot, and it makes it very expressive. There's a lot of like fun stuff you can do with VTubers in that way. But yeah, I mean, I might do like a full little Pictomancer cosplay. That would be fun. Because I've seen VTubers that are literally like, that's just a Mikote. Like, is that allowed? But maybe the costume would be fine. I'll be like, don't worry, it's cosplay. It's not like her official VTubing outfit, which is just like a keyhole sweater. Because I'm a basic bitch. Oh, excuse me. That was my Pepsi. My Pepsi. Look, man, I know I can't carry this time, guys.
We're just waiting for you to be done. That's all.
I will never be done. It will just peter out, and I'll just sit here awkwardly.
So, aside from the Yokai Watch stuff, the thing that I have been doing, and I've been plaguing Brandon and Megan with updates of this, is I have begun the climb to get all of my crafters. I started this with Culinarian at 90 and Alchemist at 83, and every other crafting class was at level 1. I now have Alchemist and Culinarian at 90, and all of the other crafting classes are at least level 50, which means I can now start working on free company workshop stuff. And I do have a free company for the Crimson Casino, but it is a very small free company. It's not like something I advertise. It's not like I'm trying to push on this show or anywhere else. It's like, come join our free company and stuff, because honestly, I don't really have the time to do that kind of thing, but at the same time, I want the benefits of a free company. So I've got a free company house for the Crimson Casino. It's at rank 25.
Nice.
Which with only 2 or 3 people is kind of impressive. And between Zim and myself and whoever else may want to contribute, we're going to try to make oodles and oodles of gil out of submarine and airship voyages, trying to duo or trio it.
I wish you all the best of luck, because I have no idea how those work outside of whenever I get shanghaied to contributing to a workshop project.
Yeah, we have, me and Ward have our own personal guild called the Butterscotch Battalion. Mm-hmm. And we have He runs all that stuff. I have no idea what the hell's going on. I do know that our ships are also named after candy. I think one is the peanut brittle.
You can name your ship?
Yeah.
Wow. I had no idea you can actually customize or choose the name, because I haven't gotten that far yet. I'm right now, when I say I've just started this stuff, I'm in the process because I started this with a project already started. It's a level 2 ethereal wheel, and then once that thing's finished up, we'll be starting on building actually submarine parts and all that. So that's how early I am into this process. So I didn't even know you could just choose a name.
Yeah, I think the ones in our free company are named after prominent community members who have passed on.
Oh.
That's cool.
That's nice.
Hey, tribute. Why not?
What should I name the sub? Okay. What should I name the sub for me? I feel like I don't know if it's... I don't know if I should give you two the power to decide that.
You should definitely not today, for sure.
Well, in honor of the dad joke from a couple of weeks ago, or a couple of episodes ago, I should say, because we don't record every week, I think you should name one the Quesadilla. I'm sorry. That's one of my favorite jokes I've ever done on the show, so I'm going to bring it up as often as I can, rather.
The Quesadilla is good. I feel like I'm going to, how many can you have?
That I don't know.
I know you can have one of a submarine and an airship. I don't know if you can have multiples.
Well, if you only have
I could ask. Ward is right over here. I could ask him.
Okay.
Do you want me to?
Sure.
Ward, how many airships and submarines can you have for a guild house? 4? For each? Wow, you can have 4 each.
Okay.
Oh, wow.
So then it's decided. At least one thing's decided for sure. 2 of the vehicles. One is going to be Butterscotch, and one's going to be Bonbon.
Yeah.
That's locked in. The other 2 to be determined.
Do you want to name one after my gecko?
Oh yeah, she's cute. What was her name? Ginger.
Ginger. Yeah.
Yeah.
I did not come up with that. We adopted her, and that was her name. So we just
Submarines are going to be named after pets. So we'll have we'll have Butterscotch, Bonbon, Ginger, and I'm not sure on the 4th one yet.
You could name her after the dog we adopted for 2 weeks, and then I discovered I'm allergic and had to return her to the shelter.
Oh my God, that's terrible.
It is terrible. I was so angry about it, but there was no way I could live.
That sucks.
Yeah.
Maybe I would just name that 4th one the Quesadilla.
Yeah, there you go.
There you go. But the airships I'll leave for something else. But that's what we'll do for the sub naming. There you go. I'll have to talk to Zim and see what she thinks about airship ideas for as far as names go. She'll whatever ideas she comes up with, they're probably going to be groaners and horrible, but I'm still going to like them.
You could name him after the various dad jokes I made about Grahatia, because, he deserves to be made fun of.
No.
If you ask Zim, it's all going to be bashing on, oh my God, my brain, my daughter, but my third. How many daughters do I have? Reen.
You're talking about Reen.
It's all going to be bashing on Reen. I don't understand it. I'm a little worried.
I will simply say this. I don't want, this is kind of spoilers to say even this much. Even though we said there's... the next time Zim is on this show, we'll talk about Reen, because Zim has thoughts now that she's actually played almost the entirety of the Raid series. Actually, I think she did do the final part. I remember. She has thoughts about Reen. I will leave that for her, but we will table that one for sure.
Is it shipping?
You may be surprised by what she has to say.
Megan and I will fight about a lot of things, but we are aligned in that Zim's thoughts on Reen are terrible.
But you don't know what Zim's thoughts are now.
Unless it's like unwavering devotion to your new daughter, then terrible.
Or like
we shall see.
I now ship her with Gaia, girlfriends forever.
I mean, part of unending devotion to our daughter is encouraging her to have good and healthy relationships.
Oh. But yeah, so that's basically going back to just passing the time. I've been doing crafting stuff and casino stuff. I haven't really played a whole lot outside of that, simply because that's really the only carrot I really need to chase right now. I like the sense of leveling up. Like, the progression is a good little bit of dopamine, but meanwhile I'm playing other games. And here's the surprising thing. I have a number of times said with like sincerity that, there's this much time from the end of Endwalker to the beginning of Dawntrail. I think I might give World of Warcraft another shot. And
no.
Hold on.
Wait.
Let me finish this before you jump in. I have said this several times, and yet here we are, 54 days away from Dawntrail Early Access, and I have not really jumped back into World of Warcraft. There was one day where I logged in, I played for 15, 20 minutes that Plunderstorm stuff, and then I logged out, and I haven't been back in. And now there's this Mists of Pandaria like reboot thing that's going to be happening in a week, and I'm tempted, but at the same time, I feel like I'm going to log in, create a character, mess around with it for probably half an hour, and that's it. And I'm like...
Okay.
Go ahead.
Me and Ward are heavily considering this Pandaria thing because of my obsession with Pandaria Hunter pets.
Right.
And I want to go back and catch them all again. And they said there's going to be like new ones. So if you are going to do it, you can come with us.
At the risk of turning this into a World of Warcraft episode of this podcast, what exactly is this Pandaria stuff you're talking about? Because I have no earthly idea.
You explain it, Will.
Imagine it's basically like this. You know how currently, WoW, if you create a new character, you can like do the entirety of a previous expansion to level your character from 1 to whatever, right?
Sure.
Okay, so they're doing that with Pandaria, but with a couple of major twists. One is, instead of going 1 to like 10 away from max level, it's 1 to max level. So you don't have to play Dragonflight to get a max level character. You can play Mists of Pandaria and go from 1 to max level doing nothing but Mists of Pandaria. And in addition to that, they are adding in... They're putting twists on stuff in there. There's no auction house. There's a specific event currency that you can use to like buy special things, and the gearing is entirely different. And the gear has all sorts of different trinket powers and stuff that you can find things to socket in things. They're gamifying up the gearing process, and all the powers and abilities you get let you do eventually wild broken stuff like Torghast on crack kind of stuff. So,
interesting.
Right. So it's kind of like time walking the expansion, but adding in a lot of fun stuff because they don't really freaking care about game balance this time. It's like, you're playing Pandaria, have a blast, do some wacky stuff as you do it.
So, do you still have to do the original Mists of Pandaria storyline?
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, that includes entirely too much Garrosh Hellscream for my liking, so pass.
Oh my god, Pandaria was like the best one.
It was, except for every moment in which you had to take orders from that stinking warmongering order.
Play Alliance.
Never!
Then you can fight him.
Yeah, but then I have to take orders from warmongering, what's his name, Varian Wren? Hard pass.
But you get to hang out with Anduin when he's little and cute, and I loved him.
Another thing I should add, is they've also put Dragonflight into this Mists of Pandaria thing.
Oh, I can be a dragon?
You can
Gonna
have the Dragonflight, the whole Dragonflying mechanics in the Dragonflight expansion. They're actually taking that and giving a Mists of Pandaria version for it, so you can experience what that stuff is like and still do it in Mists of Pandaria on
Interesting.
Pandaria flying dragons.
Can you make a dragon hunter?
No.
No?
The dragon people are still restricted to only being evokers.
That's stupid.
But
God damn it.
they did say that evokers were going to. They do plan to make the
Dracthyr available
to other classes.
Now.
But I don't know if Hunter is going to be one of them.
That's not till the war within. Last time I checked,
and
we're still talking about WoW in a Final Fantasy 14 podcast.
We talk about Baldur's Gate 3 for half an hour on Final Fantasy podcast. We can.
I know. I'm just registering I'm just registering the thing because someone will complain. You know that.
Well, people may complain, but at the end of the day, we all have our thoughts about WoW. Yeah, we're all WoW-fugees, and there's definitely a lot that we can criticize about WoW past, present, and possibly future. But at the end of the day, if it wasn't for World of Warcraft, we probably wouldn't be playing Final Fantasy 14, and we definitely wouldn't be talking on this podcast. So you got to give WoW credit there.
Oh, I know. I dated my wife before we got married using World of Warcraft, and we lived 5 hours apart.
Oh, wow.
Actually, now that you mentioned it, Mists of Pandaria was one of the highlights of our, quote unquote dating experience, because I played a troll rogue and she played her blood elf paladin, and we just ran around and quested together. Except whenever she got distracted, found an herb to pick and ran off. Like, wait, no, things are this way. I think she had it macro to go, ooh, herb.
Yeah. Me and Ward's relationship is very tied up in World of Warcraft. We didn't meet through it or anything, but that was one of our big... I think that the first birthday when we were together, his present to me was a special edition Wrath of the Lich King. I still have the mouse pad from that. It's a map of Northrend. I'm using it right now.
Nice.
How used is it?
Extremely.
I was gonna say that's seen some things and some stuff.
The edges are all curled up, and it is like that kind of creepy, extra smooth.
I laugh, but I just look down and realize, oh yeah, this is my Cataclysm Collector's Edition mouse pad I'm using.
If I ever buy another one, I know it's going to be one of those titty mouse pads.
Oh my.
And Ward's not let me do that
yet.
You see, I thought you would have gotten one of those mouse pads at some Final Fantasy 14 character, and where her bosom is like the wrist.
Let me tell you, if FanFest had an artist's alley, I would have come home with one of those for sure.
Or you'd be there selling Y'shtola titty mouse pads.
Maybe. I could make my own.
Would Y'shtola be the right choice for that kind of
She's
mouse?
got them, and she wears a low-cut top, so yes. Yeah. But I also really love it when they make it a booty.
Oh, yeah, that's also a good one.
Mm.
So, I don't know. Maybe Kubi Girl has a booty. That would be pretty funny.
And you ruined it.
He doesn't have a big chest. He doesn't have big muscles. We could do an Ardbert one. What's his or a Xenos. Xenos got big titty.
I'll buy one just to set it on fire in front of you.
I'll be like, that's okay. It's how he would have wanted it.
You're not wrong.
He's your best foe forever.
What have you can fight for who goes first, but have either of you been playing much in 14 in the days going up the Dawntrail? Megan, your Group 7SQ adventures, I know it's kind of hard to get together and all that stuff.
Yeah, no, not really. Not since last time. The husband is busy a lot. Although I think we logged in and we did some sort of holiday event thing. I can't remember what it was.
Was it the 16 crossover?
Yeah, that's what it was. Because they were like really confused by the new mechanics. And I'm like, you'll never have to use it again. I'm sorry.
I got reminded the other day that the collaboration was going to end this coming Wednesday. So by the time you hear this, it's probably already over.
True.
So I was like, oh, wait, I haven't done this on either of my girl characters. So I need to see what they look like in Clive's drip. So I logged in, skipped all the cutscenes, and just, basically button mashed my way through the fight. I think one of them I died inadvertently because I didn't realize how many AoEs I was standing in. So I flipped it to very easy and had it done in a few seconds. But yeah, that's done. I've actually, speaking of Kryl, I've been trying to finish up the main story for Stormblood. I'm in the last zone, which means I have like 6, maybe 5 quests left. But that means I've got to get through the first Xenos fight that I actually have a chance to win.
Yeah, I'm excited to get into Stormblood. Although we have to beat a Stinky in his bubble.
It's funny because something that I just thought about that since you brought it up, it's like when you're talking about Kryl, I'm reminded of her being kidnapped and that whole part in Stormblood. You think about that. You think about the fact that, for a period of time in Endwalker, she was basically acting as a conduit for the voice of Heidelin. Mm-hmm. And this girl has been through some things and seen some stuff. And of course there's Eureka on top of that.
She was also our primary quest giver for the trial series in Heavensward too.
Yeah,
that's also true. But I mean, I feel like even as much as she's been involved in stuff like that, one thing that I'm curious about is she's definitely been more active than a lot of characters in Final Fantasy XIV, but I don't really have a finger on the pulse. That's probably the wrong term to use, but there's still a lot about her and her personality and who she is as a person that I am curious about. I'm kind of curious, wanting to know more about, about that whole experience of her being kidnapped and stuff like that. Did that, change her? How did that impact her? I don't know. I'm really I guess what I'm saying is, I'm excited that Kryl is definitely involved in Dawntrail, and I'm hoping that we see not just character development, but maybe more revelations as to what kind of person she is.
Well, I mean, given all she's been through that we just listed, it's no wonder she finally picked up a DPS job. She's getting sick of being the victim or having to watch us do all the heavy lifting. She wants to grow some tools.
At least Hyland isn't gonna teleport her through the earth again. That always really seemed to fuck her up. She was like, yes, I was having my morning coffee, and then suddenly I was shooting through the live stream. Oh, sorry, Kryl.
But not you owe her a lot of baked goods. Come on.
Yeah, well, I love Kryl. I think she's cool. I think I have my own little headcanon because Kryl and Graha were kind of adopted by the same guy, so that she's kind of his big sister. And in my headcanon, she started wearing the cat ears to make him feel more at home. And their little cat family.
You're never going to hear me have anything good to say about Graha Tia, but that is stupidly adorable if it's true.
That's what I like to believe it's true. I that, she knew that he had to leave his whole family behind and come to this strange place. So, and he was a kid at the time. So she's like, look, I got the cat ears too. We're cat family. And I'm like, oh my God. And that's why I'm Kryl's honorary cat girl, because it's so fucking cute.
Accurate.
But
I'm looking forward to DPSing some dungeons with her. It's going to be all right, we're the Bash Brothers now. Let's do this.
Yeah, we're going to be art students together. It's going to be great.
You're going to double Pictomancer it. I love it.
Hell yeah, man. Oh man. Well, that's the thing. I'm planning to pick up Pictomancer immediately and have that be my main job through the And usually I do summoner because then I also have a healer at the end, but fuck that, I'm not being helpful.
So is anybody else like me waiting on the job actions trailer to decide what you're going to do the MSQ is?
I just know it has to be Pictomancer, man. Like, I
Yeah.
got no choice.
I get that for you. Ro, what about you?
I mean, I'm sticking to my line of... okay, I guess there is a caveat, right? You're not wrong. It could affect it. Right now, for weeks and months, I mean, I leveled Machinist to 90 because I had been convinced and determined that, yeah, you know what? Machinist is going to be my Dawntrail job for the MSQ. That being said, there is an outside chance that my mind could be changed if, and only if, they add more than one summon to summoner. If they just slide in one and they say, oh, here's Ramuh, I'll be like, oh, that's cool. I'll mess with that later. If they do some sort of weird, wacky change on the same level of Endwalker, which I do not expect them to do, and they say, here's Ramuh, here's Leviathan, here's Shiva, have fun, I'm all in.
Okay, then yeah, we're basically operating on the same brainwave because for the longest time since they redid Summoner, I always thought, okay, the next update needs to be you do Bahamut, then you do the original three, then you do Phoenix, and then all three of them change to Shiva, Ramuh, and Leviathan. And then it's like, okay, gameplay's still the same, but you got cool new animations to go for it. Sure, it doesn't really change anything about the job, except, make you feel like you're more of a summoner by having even more summons.
Yeah.
I think it would be cool if they had Shiva's thing do a bind, freeze him to the ground.
Sure.
Or give him some little effect.
Some little utility, to use the D&D term.
And that would be cool for trying to figure out max rage strats and all that, things where that would be helpful and stuff. But it can't be too good, or else it'll be summoners only, and then it'll be exactly. You're not a good summoner, get out.
Yeah, so that's the kind of thing that would make me say, all right, yeah, I'm going to main summoner for another expansion. Otherwise, I'm looking forward to being Machinist and having my super ridiculous, brightly colored high-tech glamours contrasting hilariously with everything we've seen of Tural. I'm going to be walking around freaking Iron Man Machinist boy. I love it.
We are probably going to hang out in Night City for a bit, so.
I mean, yeah, there is that. I don't know how that's going to affect everything, but
I'm excited.
I'll have one zone where I don't look like I'm redonkulously out of place. I can live with it. So yeah.
Yeah, I was mixing in fantasy and technology elements. I think that's what makes Final Fantasy, is that it's always hello, I'm a bard and my arrow shoots lasers.
Another thing I'm kind of hoping for from the job trailer, as far as what they do with at least jobs that I play or care about, I am hoping that for Red Mage, that the next step for Red Mage is, if you've ever PvP'd with Red Mage, they have access to an ability called Black Shift and White Shift. I want to see that brought into PvE such that either you can be a DPS hybrid support in White Shift, and only White Shift has access to the battle res, or you can go more damage oriented and go Black Shift. I think I also, and I'm about to say something that's going to make probably a lot of fellow Summoner players hate me. I think they should get rid of Summoner Battle Res.
Oh,
here's why I say this. Because honestly, as fun as Pictomancer will probably be the play, I think if you're going to add another DPS magic class, I feel like the only way you really get Pictomancers to be a respected choice in now if you're doing normal raiding encounters and stuff like that, whatever. But if you're going to have Pictomancer be a respected possibility and choice in Savage and competitive raiding and stuff like that, I'm thinking about you here, Megan. Then I feel like battle resing needs to be toned back from summoners. I still think that red mages should have access to it, but only if they are playing a more support DPS role.
Here's the thing. It's really going to depend on how good the Pictomancer buffs are. Because people are still like, we need to bring in a bard or a dancer. And like, even though neither of those are incredible DPS on their own, but they have really good buffs. And so if Pictomancer is a really good buff, and you can either get, but it is also like, how many buffs do you need? Or like, you're only going to have one dude like doing all the damage, they're just getting super buffed. I don't fucking know. That's the thing. The meta's going to be whatever it is, but I'm going to be a fucking Lisa Frank heart-blowing bunny bitch, okay? You can't stop me.
Lisa Frank heart-blowing bunny bitch. Can that be the name of the episode? Or are we scared of Lisa Frank's lawyers? I don't blame you if that's the case.
Let's say that's the honorary subtitle. We won't put that in the data for the episode, but
works for me.
All right.
It's always going to be. The other thing about like Final Fantasy XIV meta is that it's always kind of a bit laggy because we don't have as many. We don't have as much data mining. We don't have as much like. We don't have all the shit we're not supposed to be doing as much as they do in WoW. Like
which
in WoW,
which I think is a blessing more than a curse.
I do also.
But so by the way, I want to quickly comment here and just take a quick and like I said, we were talking about WoW earlier. Now I'm going to take a quick stab at WoW. Why are you guys revealing so much about the war within? It is really hard to keep my eyes away from that stuff. Here's the thing. It's like part of the thing about like me wanting to go back to WoW. It's like, well, if they keep war within stuff as secretive as possible, and yet I go to my YouTube feed and they're throwing stuff in my face, it's like, ugh.
Yeah, no, keep that up, guys. I want more spoilers. Give them all to me.
Yeah.
Well, the thing with World of Warcraft is that they're like, the story is like a delivery device for the gameplay, and in Final Fantasy XIV, it's kind of the other way around, in my opinion.
I know.
And they've never given one solitary fart about the story. Well, they did originally a little bit.
That's the whole thing. It's like they are like the story is supposed to be the big deal with the whole Star of this World Soul saga now, right? So it's like, well, will they take a page and then keep more of this stuff kind of under wraps until the expansion launches? Clearly not.
Well, I think they're also just really used to like a data mining culture. So they're like, this shit's going to leak anyway. We might as well just tell you guys what it is. We might as well get those views for us. And not like, top 10 World of Warcraft future spoiler, blah, blah, blah. Data mine, 85.
It's putting food on the plate for Tellius and the Nevatel, I guess.
Exactly. I mean, I'm not gonna lie.
I've not been in the WoW ecosystem for a long ass time, so I don't know how things are now. But
I'm only tangentially involved in it just because I know so many people who still play it, and I, am currently sitting next to one of them. But that is one thing that I found especially frustrating when I first got into Final Fantasy XIV. It's like, oh, there's no way I can read leaks ahead of time for what the story's going to be like. I don't think I like this very much, but I'll play it anyway. And it's like, oh, okay, this is still pretty good. Still, I would love to know as sooner rather than later, darn it.
I'm sure you're intrigued. I think that they revealed for Dawntrail, shifting things back now to Dawntrail. I think that they revealed just enough so far to make you wonder, how the hell does that even fit in? What kind of expansion is this? When they show something like Solution 9, it's like, yeah. I am intrigued, and I'm looking. I do not mind having been shown that and spoiled that because I have no idea how we get from point A to point D there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I like that too, and I think that's a good way to do teasers of like, oh, you guys think you know what this expansion's like? Well, guess what, motherfuckers?
You think
I have theories. I have game theories.
Mhm. Well, I also like that they don't get upset when we guess correctly.
Sure.
And they don't like try to change it or like be like, it's just we're subverting your expectations. I hate that bullshit.
I'm going to call my shot right now about Solution 9, though.
Mm-hmm.
My theory about Solution 9 is that Solution 9 is an area somewhere on the continent and stuff that the inhabitants of that place are travelers from another reflection that have the technology to cross reflections.
I think it's aliens.
I mean, technically, that's true.
No, I mean like outer space aliens.
Oh,
I feel like they've been hinting at that, and I feel like that since we had this whole cosmic expansion and we were traveling around, I think that it's entirely possible that there were refugees from a destroyed world or something.
And
just
there's
settled in Tural.
There's a whole cosmic exploration thing coming up.
Yeah, that's like the new islands thing is going to be like something about going to different worlds and stuff. So that's why I'm like aliens.
It's
also
supposed to be more like
this is going to sound extremely silly, but the whole ancient aliens chariot of the gods thing is very based in South America. So that's why I'm also thinking aliens. Like they like that shit.
The word is like leaving my mind right now. The thing in
I have that effect.
No. The crafting gathering thing in Heaven's Ward content.
The Foundation?
No, that's the
firmament.
The firmament, yes.
Oh, okay.
I think the cosmic exploration thing is supposed to be more like the firmament from what some of the things they said.
We're gonna get space housing?
Yeah. We're gonna nice. They're like, we're gonna. They were saying something like you travel to different worlds and you collect different resources on the different worlds. I think that's how I interpret. That's how I remember interpreting it. It's been a while and I'm on Dayquil, so who fucking knows if that is correct? But yeah, space motherfuckers.
There you go.
Aliens. I'm doing the hand motion every time I go.
I think the episode title is Ancient Aliens.
I'm just hoping that it's not like, oh yeah, it's just an Allegan outpost. I'll be like, boo.
It's
I don't think it'll be Allegans. I do think they will take at least one expansion to not bring up Asians, Allegans, none of the stuff before. I think one of the key things, since they kind of brought this up in like the lead up stuff, this whole contest to see who rules Tural and stuff, that whole competition thing, one of the 4 people involved is supposed to be kind of bad news, right? I feel another shot I'm going to call. I don't think that it's going to have the happiest of endings. I think the one guy they don't want to be in power is going to be in power at the end of it. And I think that's kind of it establishes and starts to set up a big bad or one of the big bads of the next arc. Like this will be kind of like the beginning of the new threat that the since you don't have a Garlemald threat, it's like this is kind of like the birth of the new threat, you know?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
I don't know how I feel about the whole we spend, 4 expansions or whatever putting down every major and substantial threat to come before us, culminating with a, eldritch abomination that's going to wipe out all reality, and then we lose a freaking Kingmaker scenario.
Yeah, but it's like, it's not our business, you know what I mean? We're here to help. But
a certain cat lady has kind of made it our business.
Yeah, but we're here to help her out, and clearly one of her rivals has asked somebody else of our team to help out. But it's not like we are the ones trying to become the ruler. I don't know. I'm also feeling a little bit like, should we be involved in this at all? Is this cool?
And it may be a shades. I think it's going to be a very shades of gray thing, though. I don't think it's going to be a black and
True.
white thing. I think that the person you don't want to come into power is going to come into power, but there's going to be reasons why you don't necessarily want to outright stop this, or reasons why you can't just stop it. I mean, they rarely, Final Fantasy XIV rarely dabbles into absolutes with this stuff. I mean, look at Emmett Selk. They were.
But it took them forever to be like, he was actually whatever. They made it. Well, no, I guess he was pretty complicated from the beginning. Or it was more like we didn't have enough information. We didn't know what the fuck his deal was.
They make onions out of these characters. There's freaking layers there.
Yeah, and then we chop the onions and serve them on a pizza.
And then you cry.
Maybe you do. I never cry when I chop onions.
Oh my god.
Oh, I'm sure you cried when you chopped up Emmett Selk.
Nope.
I'm sure you shed a tear.
Not in the least. I was happy he was gone.
I will cry at certain music cues, okay? Like, it's not hard, man.
I mean, I'll cry at that too, but putting a villain down? Nah, deserved.
Oh my... Dude, you need to learn some shades of gray thinking. This black and white thinking's not good for you.
There's plenty of shades of gray thinking, just not with an omnicidal maniac.
He didn't consider us to be fully human, ergo, killing us is not wrong.
Yeah, if you think that's going to sway me, you're dead wrong.
Okay, do you ever feel guilty killing Sims?
I don't play The Sims,
Okay,
so
do you
no.
feel guilty killing NPCs in video games?
Occasionally.
Well, there you go. He's like... he considers us to be like video game NPCs. Like, we're not complete. Also, when he kills us, he just puts us back in the live stream and then we get reincarnated. So what's the fucking difference anyway? Because he considers us fragments of a bigger soul and not an individual person. So he's just kind of putting us back in the laundry.
You could make that same, argument regarding us against him. We're just putting him back in the live stream. He's not really gone.
Well, yeah, but like we know what that. What the fuck were we talking about?
You were talking about how I'm right. That's what.
No, we were not. That can't be right. No, that can't be.
The day Quill is your full power is kind of
okay.
I don't know if I told you guys this, but there was a poll going around on my Tumblr about who has the biggest I can fix him or I want to make him worse energy, and it listed like all the major villains of FF14, and I reblogged it with, but we did fix them. They're all the absolute best versions of themselves that has ever been right now because they're all dead.
Well, they're deadish. The thing is,
I take that back. Everyone on that list was dead except for Gaius Belsar, but I was like, okay, maybe not Gaius, but he's off in some country taking care of his daughter.
Oh, you don't like homicidal maniacs except for fucking Gaius.
Oh, I would kill him.
Motherfucker.
I would kill him immediately if the game let me. I would.
Oh my god. You don't believe in redemption at all.
I do believe in redemption. I don't believe in ham-fisted redemption like that frickin' storyline, but let's not even go there.
Oh my god.
I hate the weapon storyline so much. It has so many problems.
This popcorn's really tasty, folks.
Which sucks because they're
coming for me when I'm. Okay, look. The whole point of Final Fantasy XIV is fucking friendship is magic, and everybody deserves a second chance, and you can always change your mind and become a better person no matter how far you are gone. You are never too far gone. And if Alphino was here right now, he would agree with me, and you would make him sad. Do you want to make Alphino sad?
Absolutely.
You're a horrible person. I'm sorry. There's no hope for you. Anyway, okay? The power of friendship is here to save everyone eventually. And like, for real, honestly, I really respect the game for like sticking with that shit to the point where we literally go to the ends of the universe, track down fucking Depression Incarnate, and we're like, hey bro, want a second chance? And she's like, you know what? Okay. And like, stops being a dick.
Did we fight the same final boss? Because one of those birds said, "Sure, I'd like a second chance." The rest were like, "Nope, we're killing everything."
They're the same. They're the same person, bro.
They're actually not. They just have a hive mind.
Yeah,
That means they're the same person.
That's a very fuzzy distinction, but it doesn't necessarily mean they're the same person.
That's like saying saying every Borg is 7 of 9. That's not entirely true.
Thank you.
She disconnected from the collective, so she's not part of it anymore. But if she still was, then yes, every Borg would be 7 of 9, and 7 of 9 would be every Borg. That's what a hive mind is. That's how a hive mind works. You plebeians.
I would say the Medion that you see at the end after the boss, after the Endsinger is gone, I would say that Medion is severed from the collective.
Exactly. The collective still wants to utterly annihilate everything.
The collective made the decision to not be such a dick anymore.
Really? When did that happen? Because I recall having to fight her.
Yeah, when we kicked her ass and she saw the power of Dynamis for positivity. And she realized, and she saw that we all had friends, and like she couldn't break us, and she couldn't make us hopeless. She realized that hope is actually not something that can be killed, and that she actually still has hope inside of her, and that she wanted to change her ways and not be miserable and destroy the universe anymore, and that Hermes was wrong, and that's the whole point of the expansion. Jesus Christ!
I don't think we're arguing that.
And then she turned into a little bluebird and came with us.
No,
and now she's flying around Aetheris, being like,
I don't think you remember that. I don't think you remember that Medion, the Medion we met, broke out of the collective before that fight happened.
I don't think so.
No, she did.
Oh, she did. Absolutely did. Because
thank you, Ro.
Because in the whole scene with the Endsinger, she's flying around the Endsinger saying, "Stop! Please stop." Her little bluebird self is telling Endsinger to stop.
Well, okay, but they're part of the same mind at that point, still. And look, a mind can have two separate thoughts that are fighting against each other.
You literally just got done saying that wasn't possible.
No, look, in your own mind, have you ever been like, I really want some ice cream. Oh, I can't eat ice cream because that's too many calories and I already had dinner. Oh, but I really want that ice cream. It's going to be really tasty. Oh, no, you shouldn't have it. You already had a treat today. You've never had an internal conflict in your own mind? You don't think that could be personified by two entities of the same mind having a conflict together?
I'm not disagreeing with that, but I would definitely say that this is one of those things where it's certainly up to interpretation, where it's like the game isn't straight. The game isn't the. I see what you're saying, but I don't think the game is necessarily straight up saying that they're the same mind or they're separate minds. I think we can interpret. I think this is one where we can interpret it either way.
Well, anyway, black and white thinking is shitty. And I do believe it is the thesis of Final Fantasy XIV that no one is beyond redemption no matter how far they've gone, which is why we are now partnering with the Garleans, and we're getting to know them as people. And we like the whole point of like Julius's arc, where he like sees that all the propaganda he was fed was wrong and all the things he did was wrong, and he wants to like turn it around and actually do good by his people and the people that they hurt. And like
that's a character I want to see again, by the way. Even if it's in Dawntrail, Julius needs to be back soon.
Yeah, he was fun.
And that's why I think that Gaius is a good character. Like, he changed his ways. Like, and the fact that Alfredo keeps reaching out and keeps trying to give people the opportunity to change, it's like that's like really good heroism, and like that's a true, like there's a lot of like anime protagonists that are like, yeah, friendship, except for you, fuck you, and then but like no, Alfredo was literally like, I'm going to extend the olive branch, no matter, even if everybody else thinks I'm being an idiot, even if whatever. It's like that's the point. Like you can change, and the thought of like, no, they're beyond redemption. Fuck them. It's just like, oof, dude. And like, well, yes, sure. In real life, there are plenty of people who you can go so far that you are now beyond redemption. I think that the cool thing about fiction is that you can entertain things that you wouldn't do in real life.
Fair. Yep,
including
absolutely.
letting horrible people redeem themselves, including all kinds of stuff. And one of the things I really love about fiction is that it lets you consider, something like a non-human perspective, like an Asian. Or neither of you guys have watched Freerun, have you?
Nope.
Fuck.
Here's another great example of like a game or a book series that has a lot of potential shades of gray stuff going on. The Witcher series. There definitely are absolutes there.
The thing is, like, really good character writing is considering things from the point of view of a character. And if you can do that from, like, a point of view of a character that you could not have anything in common with, like an Ascian, like, you're not immortal, you haven't lived for tens of thousands of years and, like, saw in your world, whatever. But, like, if you can logically think about how that character would think and would act and make it make sense and make it really compelling, like, that's really great character writing. And the same thing with Frieren is that she's an elf, she's immortal, she's to her, like, 10 years is like nothing, it's like a week. And so, like, seeing the way that the show plays with her perception of time and, like, all the people around her, like, she barely ever runs into any other elves, so she's mostly around humans. And so her coming to grips with how short human lives are and all of this stuff, it's very interesting. And, like, the same thing, she could have gotten, like, the Ascian way of being like, oh, you live so short, your lives don't matter at all. But instead she went the other direction of, like, your lives are so short that I need to cherish them and I need to understand you better and I need to, like, make memories with you before you're gone. And, like, that's both, it's like two sides of the same, right from an inhuman perspective coin. And, like, I think that they're both really good and they're both really valid. And so being like, oh, yeah, fuck that guy. It's like, no, that's a really good character and it's a really good villain too, because he has a point and he has a perspective. And, like, you can't just roll up on him and be like, hey, stop being a dick. And he can't just be like, okay, fam, because he has, like, reasons for what he's doing. And, like, if you can't parse that from someone like Xenos, who's just like, you know what I like? Murder.
There's a trope that we sometimes have brought up on this podcast, and a lot of people bring up which I think is pretty much a reference to bad character writing, is the Saturday morning cartoon villain. If you have a Saturday morning cartoon villain, they're just, I'm evil, wahahaha, then that character is lacking depth. It's like just they are doing things for the sake of being bad and wrong, and they're just selfish and want to take over the world. When you don't get to dive into their intentions and their motivations and they just come across as they're bad for the sake of being bad, then that's not great character writing.
Well, I would also say it depends on the kind of story you're telling, because if there are stories where that can absolutely work, especially if you're going for a more, like, fantasy or a more fairy tale kind of archetypal type story, or like a very campy story, like having a I'm evil and I love it villain can definitely work for your story. But for the kind of story that Final Fantasy is telling, or 14 is telling, especially because it gets to be told over such a long period of time, that
accurate.
Yeah, it gives them time for these really great in-depth character studies. And, like, it's always really cool to see, like, you know, like, the Ascians start out as that Saturday morning villain and the cartoon trope, but we slowly get to learn, peel back layers bit by bit of what their motivations are, what they're doing, why they're doing this, and we come to understand them. Like, that's really cool. And also, video games are kind of one of the only mediums you could do that. And I guess you could also do it in, like, a really long form show or comic or something, but you need a lot of space to flesh that out. And also, in the video game, it's just cool because it gets to be interactive and you get to actually fight them, so that's cool. I like that.
It's all about kind of like time management and how much time you have and how much time you devote to telling that character's story.
It's just like it's a very interesting writing exercise to be like, I need a character to have a logical reason for wanting to destroy the earth, you know, or to want to wipe out all the people on this earth. Like, they're evil, or the actions they want to take from our perspective are absolutely evil. But I need to come up with a compelling and a logical reason for them to do that. Like, if you're able to come up with a good, compelling reason for that, and, like, a good their perspective, like, that's really good writing. And I think that a lot of people don't really consider that, or they're like,
would you say they kind of succeeded in that with I mean, when I say Golbez, I don't mean Golbez. I mean the character who dressed up in gold.
Yes, to a degree, definitely. Well, I mean, we didn't have anywhere near as much time with him.
Sure.
Yeah.
But-
didn't have multiple expansions worth. We had like 5 patch content MSQs worth.
Mm-hmm. It's like, I guess it was kind of like a speed run. I didn't feel it, I didn't feel as much pathos from it, but the whole setting of the 13th is really interesting. For just, this fucking opposite day, like, bad is good and everybody eats each other and like, blah, blah, blah. and everybody's hungry all the time for ether and there's no ether and it's like all this crazy stuff. And so, yeah, his motivation of like wanting to turn it back to normal by he's like, we'll sacrifice another world. Who gives a shit? Fuck those guys.
Fuck
That's like you can understand. Like it's not noble, it's not nice, it's not good, but you can understand like desperate times come for desperate measures, and like they can't die. Like oh my god, imagine tens of thousands of years of suffering, horrible hunger that you cannot sate, and you can't even die of starvation. Like like it's literally like a version of hell that they're trapped in, and he's just like, yeah, I'll kill like 10 million people to stop this for my people. Like I think he wasn't even trying to like change the world. He was just like, yeah, I'm just gonna let us all die. It's gonna be great. Suicide's rad, bro. But like even that is like
A Podcast Reborn does not condone suicide.
No, absolutely not.
No. But it's like it's interesting. They could have just done like, oh, it's the dark world, so they're evil because of darkness. But they came up with this whole system of logic and why they crave ether and why the world is like this and all that stuff. And it was really cool to see it through like Zero's eyes, and we got to see some flashbacks from before everything got fucked. And like Zero's whole lesson was, I need to make friends. Power of friendship, motherfucker. It's the thesis of the entire game. But yeah, it's like I thought it was cool. It was, I mean, it's not like an epic masterpiece like the fucking, I don't even know what you call it, the Heido and Zodiac saga.
I hope we get to see Zero again. Also, I don't think we'll see Zero again in Dawntrail. I think Zero will return in the next expansion for something.
I really want cross-realm travel just so we can have Rean and Gaia show up. But I also kind of want there to be like, because they say that the amount of time that passes like changes randomly. Like the Scions were stuck there for, what was it, like a couple years before we showed up, even though it was only a couple of months.
5 for Thancred, 3 for Urianger and Y'shtola, and 1 each for the twins.
Yeah, so like if I want to see like grown-up Rean and Gaia show up and them to be super fucking badass, I want to see Rean as like a Thailander and a Gunbreaker.
You just want to not feel bad about thirsting after them.
A little. Is that so wrong?
No, absolutely not. I just want you to be honest about it.
But I want it to be like, badass muscle mommy for Rean, because I think that would be the coolest fucking thing ever. Especially if she was doing cool ass gunbreaker flips and shit. Oh my god, and she still has like Thancred's coat that he like left behind.
And his gunblade.
Yeah, that would be so cool. And the guy could be there. She could be like a dark magic fucking black mage blowing shit up. Very cool. That's what I want.
There's a number of teenage characters that could use getting a few years older, so
I would
feel
really
less guilty about thirsting after them.
I do not thirst after Alize and Alphino, but I really want them to grow the fuck up because I just feel bad for them at this point. I'm like, you are still so small. They're like, we have very long puberties. I'm like, oh god.
It's at this point starting to feel like they're a little bit like child soldiers, which is problematic for multiple reasons.
Feels bad, man. But I know that they're there because it's like teenage main characters is such an anime trope. But can't we get like some young blood? Like we could have Alize and Alphino grow up, and then we could get some young blood Scions joining us. Like, I also know that, like, the Magic Twins is an anime trope. I know that, like, the youthful prodigy is an anime trope. And, like, the whatever. It's all anime trope. 100% why they are still small babies. But, like, I'm like, we've had enough, okay? We're good.
We know
what else is an anime trope? Time skip.
Yes. And we also desperately need some new blood as far as main characters go. I mean, it's cool that all the scions and stuff are going to this new realm to Tural, and they're going to take sides and stuff like that. But honestly, I'm ready to. I mean, Woklamat's a main new character and stuff like that. But I'd like to see a few new main characters like really kind of take more center stage. More Kryl, sure. More Aaronville, absolutely. More a couple of characters we have not even been introduced yet, but we end up being surprised by just how important they are to the story. Bring it on. I'm not. It would be wrong for me to say that I'm sick and tired of the Scions, but I definitely would like to see some new stories with some new people and people that are going to be around for more than just an expansion.
Yeah.
I have long stated that we need to have, even if it's not the main story, but we need to have a long, expansive side content piece where we get to know and have fun adventures with all the junior scions who have been kind of relegated to background characters. And I'm sick of it. Like, you know, Hori and Ochre Boulder, those two twin sisters, one of whom is always thirsting after said boulders. Give me more time with frickin' what the hell was those two people who were always around? They were all over the place in Stormblood in the background. They were crap. Now I can't remember the guy who got crippled. Shite. What is his name?
It's with an A, and it sounds kind of like Ardbert, but no, it's like old.
Is it Arenvald?
Arenvald, yeah.
Yeah. There's two NPCs, I can't remember their names, who are always hanging around him and Stormblood. Like, let me go on adventures with those three for a little while.
Also, I'm like, you're telling me that we have freaking Machina Walker things, and you can't make him some robot legs?
I mean, yeah, there is that. I mean, can we please have a crafting quest where I freaking make poor Raubon a new arm?
Oh, yeah, that too. Everybody needs robot parts. Let's go. Cyberpunk Final Fantasy 14.
I'm here for it. Let's do it.
And then we discover cyberpsychosis.
Oh, and I think the names of the other characters were, since I'm doing some like quick looking here, are you referring to Jamolva and Vamatia?
Yes, Jamolva gets quietly referenced in some of the crafting quests under her gladiator alter ego, but I'm like, she sounds cool. I want to go on adventures with her.
Those names really sound like Jellicle cats.
I mean, a lot of the early ARR names and various NPCs are just like, how exactly do you pronounce that?
Jamorva and sub the T. Sorry.
Well, on that note, I think I'm going to go ahead and bring this to a close here for episode 52. A lot's going to happen between now and the next episode, which is only going to be 2 weeks away. The plan from here on through Dawntrail and maybe even a bit into lunch, depending on how we're going with the MSQ, is you guys should be getting an episode from us every 2 weeks for a while. So we're full steam ahead right now. But next episode, the live leather, the job action trailer will be out. The media tour will have begun. There'll be Moogle stuff going on. Make It Rain's happening. All sorts of shenanigans. That the hype train has officially left the station.
Woo!
Woo woo.
Might have someone with us to talk about live letter stuff. I'm not going to say who yet, but I'm working on something, so we will see. Until then, Megan, where can people find you on the internets?
I am Cat Mom Megan. Megan is spelled Meagan. It's all one word. I'm everywhere. I'm on Twitter. I'm on Blue Sky. I'm on Tumblr. I especially live stream on Twitch every Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, starting at 3 p.m. Pacific until 5 p.m. Sometimes I run late if I get into a fucking ADD hyperfocus, and I sign off when word gets home from work. So I'm also on TikTok, where I mostly post clips from my streams, although you will get the occasional cat video of a bonbon and butterscotch having a time. Having probably some disagreements.
Fighting over food.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Well, they're
that's where
not.
you find me everywhere.
They're not called cat fights for no reason.
Oh my god.
Nah.
Bonbon just wants anything that Butterscotch has. She's in like a teenager stage where she wants to prove that she's the big girl. And so like Butterscotch is laying on a pillow. We're not gonna have that. Bonbon's gonna sit on that pillow. She's gonna kick her off. And then as soon as she has it, she's like, I don't want to sit here anymore. And she leaves. It's like, Bonbon!
Yeah.
Stop being such a dick.
Brandon, where can people find you?
Well, like Ro alluded to at the start of the show, I'm not really active on too many social networks, but if you want to follow me for whatever reason, I pretty much have the BMAT, THEBMATT, on most of them. You can read my various rambly writings at yourquestlogisfull.wordpress.com. It's mostly about D&D lately. I'm sorry if you're going there looking for Final Fantasy 14 stuff. There's a little bit. I've got some plans. Keep checking in if you're interested in that sort of thing. You can also catch me on the D&D podcast Plus 5 to Hit, where, there's a cave and it's driving us all mad, and Ro is mean.
The mental.
Oh, Ro is
stress and
mean.
anxiety.
I thought you said Ro is me, like woe is me.
No.
I was like,
I'm
what?
Ro is our current DM, and he is very cruel.
Okay.
All I will say is, anyone who's familiar with the game Darkest Dungeon, the stress levels of the party right now are pretty freaking high.
Oh no.
Yep.
They need to go get some they need to get their kinks out. You gotta bring them into town and let them either pray, self-flagellate, get drunk. Or I think are prostitutes on there too? It's been a while since I played. Yeah.
They are.
Yeah.
Yeah. Unfortunately, we are very, very far from anything remotely resembling a town.
Yeah, I don't think they're going to be seeing a
self-flagellate.
town anytime soon.
I play a gray old one warlock. That pretty much happens to me on a routine basis.
As for the show, you can email us at apodcastreborn@gmail.com. You can find a Podcast Reborn on Blue Sky at A Podcast Reborn. If you're trying to look for me, that's probably the best way to contact me. Find me as through that as well. We already mentioned all of that. We are part of Boast World Productions. You go to boastworld.gg. If you want to learn more about the show, you can check out the shop, get some Podcast Reborn shirts if you would like. The theme music this time is still provided by Husky by the Geek. A link to his YouTube channel will be included in the show notes. And, of course, that music or any other Final Fantasy derivative music you hear on this podcast belongs to Square Enix, and no copyright infringement is intended. That's going to do it for episode 52. For Megan, for Brandon, and, of course, for Butterscotch and Bonbon, this is Brian Black. Until next time, may your loot rolls be high, your glamour fantastic, and your duties always complete. Brandon?
We talked about summoners a fair amount on this episode, so here's a question for you. Why are summoners just a little bit sexist?
Why?
Because they always summon Carbuncle and never Carbant.
No.
Why not? Why not?
That's a no for me, dog. You don't get to go to Hollywood for that one.
I don't care. It still made me laugh.
Better luck next time. Talk to you in 2 weeks, everybody.